Good evening and welcome to BOI Weekly. I'm Kumbi Aboluade. Recently, the Bank of Industry held its inaugural annual public lecture series, and the event brought together government officials, experts from the finance sector, and captains of industries. The lecture series had the theme Creating Impact, the role of MSME support and financing in alleviating poverty and food security in Nigeria. At the event, the Managing Director of the Bank of Industry, Dr. Olasupo Lucy, gave a highlight of the bank's various interventions to boost activities in the nation's industrial sector. During the opening ceremony, key government officials praised the Bank of Industry for its giant stride in unlocking the potentials of the industrial sector through the support of large, micro, small and medium enterprises. This is just as they also promised to support the bank.
The Bank of Industry's inaugural annual public lecture series is bringing together government officials, experts from the finance sector, and captains of industries.
July of 2023, if I'm not mistaken.
The theme of the lecture series is Creating Impact, the role of MSMEs, support and financing in alleviating poverty and food security in Nigeria. The Managing Director of the bank speaks to some of the interventions of the bank to catalyze growth through MSMEs.
This event marks a significant step in the commitment of the bank to knowledge, intellectual discourse, and sustainable development in Nigeria, and is part of the events commemorating the Bank of Industry's 65th year anniversary. We have gathered today to engage with esteemed stakeholders like yourselves to discuss critical areas essential for achieving national macroeconomic development, a goal that the Bank of Industry passionately pursues. Today, we are celebrating the official launch of two landmark publications, the BOI Journal of Development Finance, a technical biannual publication on development finance and economics with well-articulated policy recommendations, as well as the BOI Journal of Development Review, another biannual but non-technical publication on the analysis of MSME's development policy in Nigeria and Africa. In addition, we are unveiling the BOI Price Sense NG, a price intelligence dashboard and mobile app for real-time monitoring of price variations of food commodities across the country. These initiatives reflect our dedication to building knowledge, generating impactful research, fostering innovative solutions, and promoting transparency in all our endeavors. The theme of today's event, Creating Impact, the role of MSME support and financing in alleviating poverty and food insecurity in Nigeria, strongly aligns with the core vision and mission of the Bank of Industry. As we know, MSMEs are the bedrock of our economy. In Nigeria, as Nancy said earlier, they make up approximately 97% of businesses, contributing to over 80% of employment and at least 50% of our GDP. They are the driving force behind food production and the overall economic development of our nation. However, these businesses often face significant challenges, which include limited access to finance and a challenging operating environment. Therefore, addressing issues pertinent to them is essential to alleviating poverty and ensuring food security in Nigeria. Through financial support and enabling environment, MSMEs are better equipped to improve the social economic conditions of the poor by creating employment opportunities, promoting the utilization of local raw materials, and also driving economic growth. So far this year, the Bank of Industry has supported MSMEs across the country through the disbursement of loans totaling at least 77 billion naira. And these loans were given to almost 1,000 MSMEs across the country to enable them boost their operations. Those who are benefited through several of our financing facilities range from the local palm kernel processor in the southeast of the country to the woman who owns and runs a blossoming printing press in the north, and a local furniture maker in the south of the country, amongst others. However, our efforts to support MSMEs extend far beyond financial assistance. we must continually work to create an environment that fosters sustainable growth through access to capacity building programs, promoting technological innovation, and connecting businesses to domestic and international markets. By empowering MSMEs with tools and resources they need to thrive, we are fostering a culture of innovation and entrepreneurship, driving growth, job creation, and poverty reduction.
That is not all. Dr. Olasupo Olushi says 14 manufacturing companies will receive loans of up to 1 billion naira at a single-digit interest rate, noting that it is also supporting large-scale production enterprises through the 75 billion Federal Government of Nigeria Manufacturing Sector Fund. The initiative, according to him, aims to empower nano, micro, small and medium enterprises, MSMEs, which play a vital role in driving economic growth and job creation.
At the Bank of Industry, addressing any gaps that exist to the development of MSMEs is also at the heart of His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's renewed hope agenda. To deepen our impact, we have prioritized our engagement in 6 critical areas. MSMEs remain top priority, but the digital economy, youth and skills, climate and sustainability, infrastructure and gender are also critical areas. This approach ensures that every loan will not only help to create jobs, but will also help to address much broader macroeconomic challenges that exist, including a greener economy, solving technological development, and others. In addition, within the MSME development scope, the bank recently launched the Rural Areas Program on Investment for Development, otherwise known as RAPID, to support MSMEs in rural areas with low-interest loan facilities, as well as capacity building programs. The program aims to ensure that small businesses in rural areas can access financing resources to enable them to generate employment, improve their standard of living, tame insecurity rising from youth resiveness, and stem urban migration, which has plagued our economy for a very long time. The federal government, through the Ministry of Finance, also recently announced plans to expand the program by developing 300 new MSMEs for each state of the Federation, including the Federal Capital Territory, resulting in 11,100 new rural-based MSMEs across the nation. The Bank of Industry was also appointed as the executing agency for the federal government's 200 billion Presidential Intervention Fund for Enterprises. The Presidential Grants Program aimed to disburse 50,000 naira grants to 1 million nano business owners across the country, ensuring equitable distribution of these grants across 774 local governments of the country. So far, the sum of 37.9 billion has been disbursed to 760,000 beneficiaries across 774 local governments in the country. We are presently working with state governments to complete our 1 million target. As part of the intervention programs, a 75 billion naira loan program for micro, small, and medium businesses was unveiled, under which enterprises that fall in this category will also get up to 1 million naira single-digit interest rate loans. We are at present reviewing the applications of over 200,000 prospective beneficiaries and have started a disbursement to qualified applicants. We aim to broaden participation and ensure inclusiveness by deploying business clinics across the 36 states of the Federation and the FCT, which will also improve the quality of applications in the coming days. While we are enabling nano, micro, small, and medium enterprises, our efforts to support large production enterprises is also progressing under the 75 billion federal government manufacturing sector fund. About 140 manufacturing companies will receive up to 1 billion naira at single-digit interest rates. The funds under this program have already been fully allocated to successful applicants across the 6 geopolitical zones of the country, and disbursements have also commenced. For transparency of the process under this scheme, we are working with the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, MAN, to ensure that all beneficiaries are real manufacturers. This will, of course, provide additional validation of the loan application program like we envisage.
The Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Doris Uzoka Anite, gave their words of assurances to support the industrial development. The government remains committed to creating jobs and income for its people and will continue to support development finance agencies to meet this mandate.
On the policy side of things, the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration has put up supportive policies that create an enabling environment for MSMEs. We recently relaunched the PEBEC, the Presidential Enabling Business Environment Council, demonstrating the commitment of the government to support and grow industries and businesses. Under this council, we are striving to ensure that doing business in Nigeria is easier, and we are focused on improving infrastructural capacity as well as intellectual property through policies and frameworks that ensure accountability and to create a culture of efficient collaboration, synergy among government agencies and offices. We have recently also concluded the draft policy on and strategy for intellectual property protection to further support innovative ideas that come out from MSMEs. With respect to regulatory support, to stimulate our productive capacity and create more jobs, the FEC, the Federal Executive Council, approved the Economic Stabilization Bill just last week. This is a transformative bill that will make our business environment friendlier, stimulate investment, and reduce the tax burden on businesses and workers once they are passed into law in the coming weeks. In conclusion, MSMEs are at the forefront of the battle against poverty and food insecurity. And by improving access to financing, fostering innovation, and ensuring policy support, we can enable these enterprises to play a more effective role in building sustainable and inclusive economies. I therefore call on all stakeholders here, governments, financial institutions, development agencies, and the private sector to prioritize MSMEs in their strategies to alleviate poverty and address food insecurity. Together, we can build a future where opportunity is available to all and where no one is left behind, as envisioned by His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
The guest lecturer is a professor of economics and development studies at the University of Uyo, Akwa Ibom State, Professor Akban Egbo. He identifies some of the challenges confronting the nation's MSMEs and the role of the development finance institutions.
MSMEs play a critical role. So in terms of the theoretical and conceptual framework, what I've done is to endogenize MSMEs in aggregate form in a general production function. My colleagues who are economists here will agree, and I'm sorry if you don't understand, I apologize. But the nature of my training for years, so I can't help it. So I endogenize that by a semicolon, then I put MS sub MSE to show that MSME is part of the production process, okay? I define Y as total output, K and L are normal, what we use in production function, and then micro, macro, and small. Then we emphasize that if you increase capital and labor and MSE, that will also increase output, all things being equal, okay? Furthermore, MSMEs have impact on poverty reduction, employment, food security, growth, and other relevant economic indicators, such as inflation, exchange rate, openness, and the rest. We call those things kind of control variables, okay? And then we hypothesize MSE itself to be a function of the same variables, okay? But that's aggregate. And then we segmented. We looked at micro on its own, small on its own, medium on its own, the same variables. But unfortunately, we don't have data to properly determine these functions and estimate, okay? There are a lot of survey materials, so we don't have data, okay? So, for example, if you enhance growth, does it lead to more MSMEs? Or does more MSMEs lead to growth? We don't have data. So we have a lot of surveys. If you have extensive surveys, it could help to estimate what I've just stated.
He then gives recommendations on how the role of MSMEs remain critical to job creation, food security, and income generation.
The nexus between MSMEs, poverty alleviation, and food security. MSMEs have the potential to contribute to poverty alleviation in Nigeria through job creation, which it's been doing, income generation, and growth. When I say growth is important, because growth itself is not development. I'm sure you're aware. You have to grow at least double digits, sustained for 15, 20 years, to have impact on poverty reduction. Look at Nigerian data. It's been growing 7%, but no. That's what research has confirmed. You must grow double digit, sustain for 15, 20 years to have impact on poverty reduction. So growth is not development. You can be growing, poverty is rising as we have now, unemployment is rising, inflation is rising. That will not bring development. MSMEs operate in various stages of food supply chain, from production and processing to distribution and retail. By enhancing food production and distribution, MSMEs can contribute to food availability, a critical dimension of food security. SMMEs contribute to food accessibility by providing employment and income to local communities, enabling them to purchase food. Small-scale food producers, processors, and traders often make food products more affordable and accessible to low-income households, thereby enhancing food security. MSMEs also promote food utilization and stability. Many small food enterprises focus on processing and preserving food, which can help reduce post-harvest losses and ensure a stable food supply throughout the year. MSMEs contribute to dietary diversity by providing various food products that enhance nutrition. Despite their significant potential to promote food security, MSMEs in the food sector face numerous challenges, as I've outlined earlier. Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, let me conclude by saying that MSMEs are essential in developing economies, making substantial contribution to employment, poverty reduction, and food security. They possess the capacity to significantly contribute to poverty alleviation. They contribute to sustainable development goals. For them to perform optimally, they require support to address challenges such as access to finance, regulatory barriers, infrastructure deficits, limited market access, skill gaps, among others.
And then it was time to dissect the lecture as the meeting moves into a panel discussion.
After listing all the initiatives on the screen, you ask yourself that the MSME sector is still what it is, what it was 20 years ago. The same constraints that he listed on the screen were the same constraints that I told my MBA class about 20 years ago. And if indeed the MSME sector faces those constraints, how come it contributes 80 to 90% of the country's GDP? So I think the question is, do we have the right candidate? Are we asking the right questions? These problems that we have enumerated, are they technical problems? Or are they, structural? Are there structural and political economy issues behind these problems that we have listed? And unless we are able to discover this, I think we'll just be beaten about the bush.
One thing is to talk about access to finance. There's yet another one about issues relating to the dimensions of affordability, and then, of course, its availability. 3 different issues there. It's available, it's accessible, and affordable. Now, if we flip that to the side of food security, they'll be dealing with about 5 different factors. First is that the food is available. The second is that it is accessible. And that is where it intercepts the issue of physical security. where you can produce food in the farms, but they can't get to the markets. Then the third one, of course, talks about its affordability. Typically, when you look at food security internationally, there are 4 factors we consider. Okay, the third one now we talk about sustainability, whether the sources of the food we are talking about actually are sustainable in nature before you can arrive at security. Then quality of the food, which in fact in our own instance for me in Nigeria, quality is not a primary thing. The first is to make the food available, accessible, and then affordable before you begin to talk about sustainability and then the quality. So how do we put all of this together? And that is where the role of BOI comes in here.
The role of SMEDAN in terms of capacity building and training and providing business support for all these MSMEs. You know, they need support, they need collaboration, even from the private sector and the NGOs to advocate for them and publicize their activities. In addition, the National Exports Promotion Council, Nigeria Export Promotion Council, and Nigeria Investment Promotion Council, they are also partners in progress. Apart from the BOI bringing money, bringing finance, loan disbursements to these enterprises. Other organizations and commissions, they should be up and doing. How is the Nigeria Export Promotion Council helping them in terms of access to market, not only national market, international market? Do they support them to package their products and bring foreign exchange to this country? Then the Nigeria Investment and Promotion Council, what is its role in promoting the growth and sustainability of these MSMEs? So all these other commissions and organizations, they need to come on board. They need to be more functional, and do the needful in order to see that the SMEs, they have success stories like what we have in other countries.
What is key here is that we have come to realize that the MSMEs are very important. In Prof's paper, he mentioned the various challenges from access to funding, to infrastructure, to so many, including corruption itself. Now, policies and whatever. The point is, one thing that we have always left behind is, do we believe that the MSMEs are important to us? If we do, that they are important to the growth of this country, do we also practicalize it? So what is key here is that if all the challenges have been addressed, if we have found solutions to all the challenges, why are we where we are today? And this is where BOI comes in. We have looked at this consistently, we have studied it, and we said there's a solution to this. And the solution to this is the BOI solution. What do you do? Accept that the MSMEs are important to you, they are important to your existence, they are important to your growth, and practicalize it. Let them feel it, let them believe it, that yes, you believe in them and you are ready to support them. And this is where we are different.
The event also saw the launch of 2 landmark publications: the BOI Journal of Development Finance, Technical, a biannual publication of development finance and economics, and the BOI Journal of Development Review, non-technical, another biannual publication on the analysis of MSME's development policy in Nigeria and Africa.
And also the Secretary of the Commission is with us here, representing the Chairman and the Commission.
Also, the BOI Price Sense NG, a price intelligence dashboard and mobile app for real-time monitoring of price variations of food commodities across the country.
Take your business to a higher level through the support that the Bank of Industry provides. The bank's highly experienced and professional staff are ever ready to offer more information to you. You can access BOI services by visiting any of the bank's 33 state offices nationwide using the addresses displayed on your screen, or log on to their website at www.boi.ng. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. Please join us same time next week. I'm Kumbi Aboluade. Bye for now.